What is going on, my peeps? It's Micah with Versatile Productions here, back with another video, back to talk about the Galaxy Unpacked event for February 9th, 2022. It's been a while since I've been able to actually check out a Galaxy Unpacked event live because my work hours are crazy now, and I'm not up around 10 o'clock. I'm up around 11:30, 12 now. So I just happened to be able to get up for this event, and maybe it was something special that I just knew was gonna happen with this Unpacked event. And I think it was Samsung did the right thing with the Galaxy S22 Ultra, combining the Note into the S series, because they should have did that a long while ago. Yes, you heard it on this channel here about 3-4 years ago, probably about 4 years ago. I was one of the first, for real, to say that Samsung was about to get rid of the Note series because it had become redundant about 4 years ago. And voila, they did indeed drop the Note series and combine it with the S series. So shout out to Samsung for doing that. Smart idea, smart play. I think that really works out for the Samsung brand overall to have two S series phones that we know are usually the same, and it kind of feels a little Apple-esque in terms of how they tier their iPhones, right, between the iPhone, you know, typical year-over-year upgrade, like let's say the 13, for example. Then you have the 13 Pro, and then you have the 13 Pro Max. Well, the Samsung Galaxy S22 and S22 Plus feel like the iPhone 13, and then the Ultra is the Pro Max. So forget that there's even a Pro in there. It's just the 13 and the Ultra or Pro Max. And then and so when you think about Samsung, it's the S22, S22 Plus, which are identical, just slightly different in terms of battery sizes, which makes sense because of the screen sizes. So we're gonna get the S22 out of the way first, because even Samsung didn't really care to really talk about the S22 and S22 Plus like that. So they're both starting off. So the S22 starting off at 800, and the S22 Plus is starting off at 1,000. Pretty high in my opinion. In terms of pricing, it definitely feels like iPhone again. 800 is great for the S22, and based off what I heard what MKBHD said about the size and heft of it, he said it kind of feels like a mini, or in a better terminology on Samsung side, it sounds like it's like a ever so slightly bigger S10e, just revitalized and improved. He said there's a little more heft in it, and I like that. Just looking at it, does feel a little bit more compact, even like a Sony compact, like when they used to do the compact versions of their phones. So good to see that Samsung is at least taking that smaller size phones seriously still from that standpoint. The S22 comes in at 6.1 inches, and the S22 Plus comes in at 6.6 inches. They each kind of have 4 colors, and battery sizes are 3,700 milliamp and 4,500 milliamp. They're coming with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, right? 4nm processor, which means improved power, efficiency, and performance. And then the difference between the 6.1 and 6.6 is the charging. So the 6.1 will top out at 25 watt charging, and the 6.6 will top out at 45 watt charging. Pretty interesting that they just won't allow the 45 watt to now be the standard, especially since they've had that charging brick for a little bit now. I have one, and it charges my tablet up in like an hour. Like, as big as my tablet battery is, it charges it up really fast. My Galaxy Z Flip 3, it charges, I think the max on this is 15 watt. So it still takes advantage to some degree, but I will like to see 45 watt charging be able to come to all of their devices, you know, ASAP. Like, please Samsung, please. Any other differences? No. Now what's going to be the same? 50 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, 10 megapixel telelens, and then you get optical image stabilization and video stable image stabilization, which is very, very interesting, and nightography. So the nice part about the nightography aspect is it will use OIS and VDIS, is what they're calling, video image stabilization, to help with frame rates depending on the lighting and help counteract a lot of the movements that take place, so that way you still get smooth video and you still be able to get more clear video in low light situations. And then in terms of the front facing camera, is 10 megapixel front facing, and then AI stereo depth mapping for portraits. So it's going to do a much better job of mapping your face in terms of the depth in which you have the backgrounds and all that type of stuff, so that way you get real, true to life portrait pictures with your phones. I like that. I like that a lot. And then you got Snapchat being integrated with the telelens and night mode, along with Facebook, Instagram, other in-app camera camera settings. These devices will actually take way better images for you, and I think video as well. So good to see Samsung's really diving into the software side of things for the cameras with the AI and the portrait modes and the night modes. Even now with my Z Flip 3 using night mode, and it's automatic too. You know, you just have to know that and understand that because you're in darker settings, just don't move the camera, because it's gonna basically want you to sit still as it processes that picture. But Samsung has been coming along with their camera technology really on the software side, because as we saw for Google, you don't have to do that much on the hardware side to really capture great images. Only recently did the Pixel 6 finally upgrade the cameras, but we definitely saw for like 3 or 4 straight years Google was using like the same camera modules and just improving the software. And now that competition caught up with them, you know, now they've had to improve the hardware to get more capabilities out of their camera. So it's good to see Samsung take advantage of that, even with the S22 and S22 Plus. Now with the S22 Ultra, it's coming in at $1199, or basically $1,200 price point. Makes sense. It sounds like a Note, you know what I'm saying, price point. It's very Note inspired, right, because of the body shape and the integrated or built-in S Pen. The S Pen is coming in black, but the tip on the bottom end comes in whatever phone color you have. So pretty interesting that they went that direction instead of giving you a colored S Pen. Not a big deal to me. One of the things that I would love to take advantage of with this phone, or if I ever get a Note phone, which really probably would just be the S22 Ultra, is the screen off memos, because I like doing that on my tablet, but I don't have my tablet with me out and about. So having my phone where I can just take out and write down somebody's number real quick, like, man, that's one of the things I would like to appreciate and experience with the S22 Ultra. Now here you get Phantom White, Black Green, and that burgundy color, which looks like that Iron Man 3 red color, you know what I'm saying? I like that color. They also have exclusive colors like sky blue, a granite color, I believe, and then red. And the red look fire too. So shout out to Samsung on those colors. 3 times more responsive S Pen. I think the latency, if I'm correct on the tablet end, which we'll get into later, later, I think it's like 2.3 or 2.8 milliseconds or something like that. Like and it tries to predict your movement with the S Pen, so that way it can be that much more responsive. Phenomenal. Like, that's what we need to see with these S Pen now. Of course, with the renewed latency, I did not really see and struggle with the latency of the times past, because I've only had the S Pen since what, the S4, I believe. And the latency wasn't that bad on the Tab S4. So with the Tab S6, S7, and now hopefully the S8, because that price point is different. It's good to see that the pen's gonna feel very true to life when writing and, you know, all your activities with the S Pen. Corning Glass Victus Plus and stronger aluminum frames is going to back and front the Ultra model, which is great. Added protection, we need that. It means it's probably gonna weigh a little bit more as well, which is good to see. How big is the phone? We're looking at 6.8 inches dynamic, 2 times AMOLED, 120 hertz, Quad HD plus display. It's a whole lot, but at least it's Quad HD, and you can activate Quad HD with 120 hertz, and it's adaptive. And I think it's LTPO plus or 2, which means that now the refresh rate can drop as low as 1 hertz. So depending on what your activity is when you're, you know, whatever you're doing on your phone, it would, you know, adapt, and you really won't notice the difference in how fast it'll scale between 1 and 120 hertz, depending on the activities, because of all that good AI power, Snapdragon power, processing power, NPU power, machine learning power, all that fun jazz, right? And speaking of machine learning performance, it is jacked way up by 71% on the Ultra, and I think it's literally because of an NPU that they're incorporating in the phone. I don't think we've had an NPU, a neural processing unit, in the phones like as of last year. So I think that's why you're getting such a big jump in terms of 71%. Is because of that, and in incorporation with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor. And then one of the big things that they highlighted was heat dissipation for the Ultra. It's improved new vapor chamber filament, if you will, or cooling piece for more efficient heat transference, and it's transferring the energy horizontally as well. They want to make a note of that, so we should be able to feel cooler phones, at least on the back side. Now I don't know about the rail or the frame of the phone, since heat's going to be kicking out to the side. We're going to see, but at least they're definitely doing a lot in terms of trying to keep the phones cool, probably especially when charging the devices. So good to see Samsung staying on their battery tech and ensuring good phones and safe usage of these devices. Now, in terms of the cameras on the Ultra, you got a 108 megapixel and you got a 40 megapixel front-facing camera. And then, of course, you have your 12 megapixel ultra wide, and then you got your 10 megapixel tele lens, but you get a 3x zoom and a 10x zoom on the tele lens. So you're gonna get pretty good and crisp zoom shots at the 3x and 10x zoom. I saw Lou's video, and he was kind of showing it off, and he was taking pictures of the dog, and whoa, sharp. The way it's able to still eye track and get good images is pretty solid there. To go more in depth about some of the software, they really touched it more on the S22 Ultra, but you got improved AI to improve photos during the day and night, nightography, including night portrait. So you get portrait mode in night mode as well. And then the OIS and VDIS, as I say, helps with stabilization to improve low light distortion and smooth video. And auto frame rate will introduce super night resolution to improve video regardless of lighting conditions. So auto frame rate will adjust the frame rate based on the lighting, and then along with the image stabilization, it'll keep things smooth and stable, because we know when you dip in frame rates, you know, you can get jittery or slow, really slow tracking, slow motion video, but it's going to alleviate all that with these processes in place. So it's good to see that we're getting a lot of that as well in the phones, because, you know, a lot of these features you could say are kind of, or have been limited to cameras, and now they're finding a way to really hone that in on the smartphone level. So good to see there. They will have a pro mode and an expert raw app or mode, which will be an app on the S22 Ultra, and it's optimized for Adobe Lightroom. Yes, you heard what I said. So you can control all the camera settings, ISO, frame rate, all that fun jazz, shutter speed. You can control all that in this app, and then take those raw images and edit them in Adobe Lightroom, which is fantastic. Samsung has been doing a good job of keeping that partnership tight with Adobe, because, you know, if you download it through the Galaxy store, you'll get the I forgot what it's called, but it's like optimized for Samsung or something like that, powered by Samsung, I don't know, but you'll get and it's not really different at all, in my opinion, between there and downloading from the Play Store. But there is optimizations that Samsung says that they have in place on their devices to utilize those apps more efficiently. So it's definitely good for people like creators like me that use Lightroom to buffer up photos and pictures and thumbnails. And we're going to talk about it with the tablet in a second, but I'm trying to figure out why we haven't, or why they haven't, Samsung, I don't know why I say we, but being I'm on Android, why is there no Adobe video editing app consistent on an Android device, right? Or period. We need like an Adobe Premiere Lite or something like but I digress. 10 megapixel, oh, I already talked about that. And then the YouTube partnership. So sharing videos via Samsung Messages, and I would imagine Google Messages too. I'm not 100% certain. But this shows a preview of the video in the Messages app, you know, in your thread, and then each person, you and the person you shared it to, can watch the video together via Google Duo live sharing. So that's also pretty cool. Basically, like it's a FaceTime equivalent where you can watch things together. You can send stuff to each other and check it out. And then on a broader scale and on a larger display, you get the same thing on the tablet end as well. And then of course the phone packs a 5,000 milliamp battery and of course rocks 45 watt charging at minimum. So the S22 Ultra is a beast. It's here to stay. I'm not mad at the price point. Do I wish phones would just kind of stay closer to the $1,000 level and not creep up past that? Yes, but considering the other two phones, which I mean arguably could be cheaper as well, like by $200. I mean, it should be 600, 800, and then 1,000, right? It should be something like that, or 1,100 if you really wanted to separate the Ultra from the other two models. So pricing, I'm not too mad at. Pricing is not that bad. The S22 Plus is a little high in my opinion at $1,000. So I would definitely say if you're gonna get yourself an S22, go for the Ultra model because you get the S Pen. The price isn't too far off from the other two. They're literally all $200 difference, so they really should have just did 6, 8, and 1,000 in my honest opinion. Go for the Ultra model. It's going to be way worth it more in the end, and if it's something that you want to keep for a while, you have a device that's going to get 4 years of platform updates, baby. So up until 2025 pretty much, or well in this case 2026, we're going to get Android 13, 14, 15, and 16. And then we get 5 years of security updates. In the beginning of the event, they talked about increased product life cycles to help the environment, help the planet. And so we could try to keep our phones a little bit longer. Now, us as creators, you know, a lot of times we take these and trade these back in, so at least we give them back to the company for the newer phone. But the trade-in value for the Z Flip 3, for example, is not that great. You know, you spend $1,000 for the phone. Thankfully, I didn't have to. But you spend $1,000 for the phone, you don't even get 50% back on the phone. Other devices you get good value out of, but for some reason, Z Flip 3 does not get good value back. You even get more than 50% trade-in value on the Z Fold 3. But the Z Flip 3, $400 trade-in credit, as opposed to $500-600 trade-in credit, $700 trade-in credit. So it's you kind of feed into the narrative of Android devices or your own devices not keeping good value when you don't give good value back for your devices. So that I was disappointed with. So I'll probably be keeping my Z Flip 3. Not that I necessarily wanted to trade it in for the Ultra, because I really like the form factor of the Z Flip 3. But I definitely wanted that Ultra, so I was definitely considering it. But $400 is not helping me out that much. Now you can get up to $900 trade-in credit, I believe, for the Ultra. So check that out if you guys haven't already on Samsung.com. If you want links, of course, I guess I could put them in the description box for you. So we can do that. But it's good to see that Samsung is utilizing a lot of these partnerships with Google and Adobe and LumaFusion for the Tab S8 Ultra. Now, I try to look for it in the Galaxy Store now. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if it goes live when the Ultra comes out or if it's pre-installed on the Ultra. Is it just for the Ultra? Is it for all Tab S8 models? Is it for everything in the Galaxy Store, maybe from the Tab S5e, S6 onward or something like that? Will it have access to the LumaFusion? But for the first time on Android, basically, LumaFusion is here via Samsung, via the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. At least that's what they emphasize, because again, just like the S22 and S22 Plus, Samsung really didn't care to talk about the Tab S8 and Tab S8 Plus, which is understandable. If we was here for the Ultra and for the Tab S8 Ultra, and Ultra it is. But before we get to it, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys ignite that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that way you never miss my videos, so that way we can sit back, chillax, see what's cracking. And let me know down in the comment section below, what did you guys think of the Galaxy Unpacked event? What's your favorite device that you saw? Was it one of the S22 series? Was it the Tab S8 series? Did you like hearing the fact that the Galaxy Watch 4 has Wear OS, or will be having Wear OS, and going forward, Wear OS will be the operating system on the Galaxy Watches or the wearables, along with Google Assistant being able to say, "Hey Google, Are you guys excited for that? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now let's get back to the video. Let's get into the Tab S8 and S8 Plus. $700 and $900. 11-inch LCD for the Tab S8. 12.4-inch OLED or AMOLED for the Tab S8 Plus. So pretty much the same as the Tab S7 and Tab S7 Plus in terms of screen resolution and display. You're looking still having your Dolby Atmos quad speakers tuned by AKG. Yeah, you get 8 gigs of RAM, up to 256 gigs of storage, single 12 megapixel camera on the front, and then you get two 12 megapixels on the back, I believe, wide and ultra wide. And then the Tab S8 Ultra starts off at $1099, 14.6 inches of behemoth screen display, 120 hertz, 2960 by 1848 resolution, which is probably basically Quad HD Plus as well, I would imagine. And of course the Tab S8 and Tab S8 Plus are also 120 hertz, so don't worry, everything 120 hertz now. All right, guys. 6.3 millimeter bezel. They shrunk the bezel so you get even more screen real estate on the Tab S8 Ultra, and of course to try to give us as close to 14.6 inches, of course they have to enlarge the real estate, but in order to also get that, they had to shrink the bezel so that way it doesn't get that much bigger. So it makes sense to me. I'm not mad at it. I really like how the Ultra looks. I'm not bothered at all by the notch. The tablet looks amazing. It's a man. The amount that, like, being able to multitask on a screen that big makes that much more sense. 12.4 inches isn't bad. My Tab S7 Plus is cool. I multitask from time to time. I usually don't multitask with 3 apps. If I do, I'm probably in Dex, but I have tried it in tablet mode and it's fine. But having an additional 2 inches basically of screen real estate that you can get even better sizing for the other 2 smaller apps, or even with 2 apps and the amount of screen that they still take up, is very, very impressive to see that Samsung is also still going hard in the tablet space, trying to give developers and other app developers and companies a reason to look in the direction of Android for tablet functionality, because we need it. Like, I've been rocking Power Director for a while, but it's nice to see that they have a collaboration with LumaFusion to bring video editing to the tablet space, specifically to the Tab S8 Ultra, and that's what I'm super excited for. Moment, I don't know if you guys have heard of Moment, but they're like a camera company. They make smartphone accessories and stuff in the camera range, as well as like camera accessories like filters and Pro Mist filters and stuff like that, or Cine Bloom, if you will. Moment created a color grading app for video. I forgot the name of it, but they only created it on iOS. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, for someone who wants to color grade so bad, or at least start learning how to do that, I would love to see that on Android. So hopefully this is something that kicks that bucket over and we start getting to see more apps in that space for us, because we need color grading apps. We need an Adobe Premiere Lite or something like that. I mean, shoot, even with Apple, people want a Final Cut Lite or something like that for, or Final Cut Mobile or something like that for their iPads, because you have all this screen real estate, you have all this power, but you're not allowing us to access it. And in Apple's case, we've seen the amount of RAM storage or RAM space apps can take. Hopefully it's a higher cap, or there's no cap on the Android side, because the Tab S8 Ultra has 16 gigs of RAM. So hopefully it's not capped at like 5 or 6 gigs of RAM like Apple's apps are. It will be nice to see an app such as LumaFusion or Lightroom can eat up additional RAM, since we have the available storage, and you know, and that will help the app run more fluidly, more efficiently, and not shut down, lag, jitter jug, you know what I'm saying? Creates problems that way. So hopefully we get to see the RAM usage, or the RAM used appropriately with substantial apps like LumaFusion, like Lightroom. Now, gaming is going to also be great on this because of how big the display is, and if you have a controller, you basically just got yourself a monitor that you can use as a gaming space with that 14.6 inch of goodness, AMOLED, right? I think I already told you guys, right? Yeah, it's AMOLED. I believe it's also LTPO plus. or two or whatever, dynamic 2 times and all that fun jazz. Dual cameras on the front, 12 megapixel each. So, and they're positioned in landscape mode, of course. So that way when you're doing your video calls, it's right there in your face. And then when you have somebody else that's with you, it'll know to engage that person by switching to the ultra wide or the wider camera. And then it has some auto framing techniques similar to Apple's, how they do their FaceTime and whatnot. So that way it'll keep people in frame and center stage on your video calls and whatnot. And their partnership with Google Duo goes far with here as well when it comes to those video calls, the Google Duo live sharing. So really good to see there. And yes, this is where I saw that S Pen latency number of like 2.8 milliseconds or something like that. So crazy fast, crazy responsive for the S Pen. Of course, Samsung rocks with their audience and they give you the S Pen. They don't try to charge you for it like Apple. So good to see there. Good to see that you get the S Pen as usual. Samsung Notes has also been optimized, so you can display 2 notes side by side. You can sync notes faster. You have clipping options. You can press and drag, I believe, outside of DeX as well. But I think you have to use the wireless monitor activity to be able to press and drag. When you copy and paste, I think in Samsung Notes, if you copy and paste on your phone or on your tablet, you're able to paste on the other one. So I did it, I tried it, and it was pretty interesting. Now, I don't know if it's because I continued in Samsung Notes. One UI 4 gives you the ability with certain Samsung apps to continue on another device. App continuity, that's what it's called. So if I'm in Samsung Notes on my Z Flip 3, and then I open up Samsung Notes, or I swipe up to go to recent apps on my tablet, I will get an option up at the top to say continue from your phone or whatever with Samsung Notes. When I click on that, it'll take me right there. Now this is where I got to experience the copy and paste. I don't know if you have to do all that. I think as long as you're in the same app or something like that, or you copy and paste, One UI 4 knows like your devices are linked through your Samsung account. So if I copy and paste something there, or copy from one device, I can paste on another. So that's also something that will be improved on the Tab S8 series. Links, I think you can drop links in or drag and drop. Like, it's pretty dope. You can swap notes for projects and whatnot when you're doing collaborative events with schoolmates or workmates. And then of course that's where Google Live sharing comes in also. And then drawing, of course, has been improved. Clip Studio Paint as well is improved with the S Pen, and you can use your Ultra or basically any phone that has a digitizer and is up to date with Clip Studio Paint. You can use your phone as your color palette to then draw on your tablet. So you can do this and then do this seamlessly, no problems. And then of course I mentioned LumaFusion. DeX is improved with portrait orientation workflow, a wireless touchscreen monitor, drag and drop files between devices, which also works in the Files app. As I mentioned before, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage, and up to 1 terabyte of micro SD card expansion. So you can rock a lot of storage on your device, and you're probably gonna need it if you're a big video creator, because we run out of space pretty fast. 8 Snapdragon NJ1 across all devices, right? And then Wi-Fi 6E as well as Bluetooth 5.2. The S22 has Wi-Fi 6 and no ultra band or ultra wideband in terms of 5G. S22 Plus has the ultra wideband, and of course the Ultra, and I believe all the tablets, or at least the Ultra tablet, has of course the ultra wideband, I believe, as well. You have to check your carrier, or check with your carrier on that. And that's the Tab S8 series and the Samsung Galaxy S22 series in a nutshell. Additional notes I took, as I mentioned with the Google Wear OS, that because of that integration in Google Assistant, we're able to have YouTube Music downloaded onto your watches as well. Now I hope you were able to also install your playlist from YouTube Music onto the watch, so that way you really don't need your phone at all. You can leave your phone in your car, at home, or just bring it with you, but you don't have to take it out, because you can operate everything from your watch and your earbuds. So that would be great. And then of course, running apps like Adidas Running, we have more optimized running apps available in the ecosystem now of Samsung Galaxy, which is what a point that they made to mention as well, with the increased live product cycle and to close out the show talking about their ecosystem of choice and how everything is now seamlessly working together way better than it was in the past. The last 3 years, really, we've gotten to really see the continuity and the cohesion of the Samsung's Galaxy. So yes, and then new watches, new watch bezel colors and wrist strap colors, and new watch faces are coming to the Galaxy Watch 4 as well. And Samsung Wallet is coming to wearables and devices, so you can house your cryptocurrency and all your cards and gift cards and all that fun jazz. Will be more accessible as well in the near future as well. And that is it, guys. That is the event. I think they did a swell job, great job in terms of the Galaxy Unpacked event for February 2022. I would imagine we're gonna have another one later in the year to talk about the foldables and the flippables, so we'll see. But let me know down in the comment section below again what you guys thought about the Unpacked event, your thoughts about the S22 series, Tab S8 series, what you like, what you didn't like, your concerns. You like the S Pen being with the S22 Ultra, the Note combining into the Ultra model now. I like it, of course, but let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. It's your man Micah signing out until the next video. Yo, wait.